Hey guys, sorry I know I'm late today. I was at the school volunteering at field day for some crazy reason. I thought that would be a good idea. So, yeah, I'm a little bit late. So I'm just going to quickly share this. I'm not as prepared with my sharing as I usually am, so it's going to just take me a minute. But I figure you guys weren't waiting for me like you usually are, so it might take you a minute to hop on. So once you check in, once you get here, make sure you let me know that you're here. So I can say hi. Today we're going to be working on some Quilt As You Go, which is a fun technique, and I love it for beginners and people who are just starting out and wanting to quilt a little bit. So it's just a fun technique and it's super easy, and we're just going to go into the very basics today, and then we can talk about, next time we'll talk about maybe attaching them, or maybe we'll talk about it today. I don't know. We'll see. You know me. Who knows? So, like I said, I'm sorry I'm late. Just getting the end of the year, school year stuff is crazy, right? Today is my kid's last day. Oh, let me just, I forgot to turn on Do Not Disturb so it doesn't go crazy on me. There we go. Today's my kid's last day of school. So, it's kind of craziness. Yeah, good morning, Tracy. I hope you guys are still here, even though I'm a little bit late. Hello. I'm just sharing this really quickly. Sorry, this is a little bit longer. Oh, good. I'm glad, Diane. I'm almost done here. So today, like I said, we're going to be talking about Quilt As You Go. Hi, Brooke, which is a technique where I love it for, like, I was trying to come up with the words and I can't come up with it. It's just a free-for-all almost. You don't have to have a plan in mind. You can use patterns, or you don't have to, which is kind of why I like it. You don't have to have a pattern, which I really like. Oh, sorry. Talking. So you don't have to have a pattern. You can just kind of go with the flow. It's great for scraps. I love using scraps this way because you can kind of just do your own thing, do whatever you want. So I've just got one more to share here, and then we'll go. Don't want to waste too much time sharing, but I want to make sure everybody can find us. This is the last one. So what you're going to need for today is you'll need some batting, and you'll cut it to the size of the block. So you can do this in bigger sizes, like you could do a full length that's like a table runner, or you can do one that's like placemat size, but you can also make a full quilt like this, just a square at a time. So you'll cut your batting to the size. I just picked a random size because I'm going to show you how it's just easy to just freelance. What's the word? Why can I not come up with it? Just kind of go with the flow. So you want a piece of batting that's the same size as, or a little bit bigger than the piece. Hi, Melissa. Than the piece you're going to be doing. Then you need a piece of fabric for the backing, and I'm just going to go with one I've got. This is from that same line. So in the description of this, hi, Carolyn. In the description of this blog post, freestyle. There you go. I knew it was free. I'm like, free motion, free for all, free form. I could not come up with it. Freestyle. So this is from the Wonder line from Wyndham Fabrics. Here, I'll show you. This one is as well. And it's in the written tutorial, which you can find over on the blog post, which is in the description of this video. This is Wyndham Fabrics. It's Wonder. And I'm going to use this one too. This has a fun little... I think these are all this Wonder, right? No. No, here they are. I'm like, I have a whole thing of them. And you can see this box I made out of the same fabric, and I did Quilt As You Go with this. So these are all my Wonder fabrics. I'm going to just use scraps and bits from those. And you can see this. I've linked this in that blog post too. It's over on the Thermoweb blog, but you can find the link for this little scrappy Quilt As You Go box in that blog post. Okay, rambling. Sorry, I just was in a gym with like 500 kids and it was insane. So my brain is like, blah. I have to like talk to you like you're kindergartners, but I don't need to, I know that. Hi, Gina. So I'm just gonna settle down now. Okay, so grab a piece of fabric, and I'm also using my Easy Press, which I love. You know I love my Easy Press. And this is fusible fleece, so it's gonna fuse to the backing, which is good, which I like. For this, I'm just gonna pick a piece of fabric. This is the back of my quilt block. So whatever you want for the back, I'm gonna fuse. Let me put you down so you can see. My craft room is a complete disaster. I've been working like crazy trying to finish a few projects, so it's like really crazy town in here. Oh, and this is from Maker Valley. Super, super awesome. They just came out with this. Amy from Diary of a Quilter designed some shirts for them, and this one, hashtag Quilt Nerd. It's the wrong side, Quilt Nerd. I love it. I love it so much. They didn't pay me to say that. I just really like it. So I'm going to put my batting. I've got a square of batting on a piece of fabric that's big enough for it. I'm just going to press the batting on. And then I'm going to trim it up so it's the right size. Hi, Tanya. So if you guys haven't checked their shirts out, I wear the shirts all the time. There's one that says no regrets with a seam ripper. There's one, I have one that says messy bun, getting stuff done, which I feel weird wearing now since I don't even have enough hair to make a bun, but it's still like the most comfortable shirt ever. And then I have another one that is a sewing machine made up of a lot of different words. They've got a ton of really, really cool ones. So I'm just pressing this batting to the backing fabric. So if you're making a whole quilt, you want to make sure you have, you know, enough, if you want to do the same thing, or enough coordinating pieces for the backing. Or you could just do white. It does not have to be, patterned. So I've got that fused on. I'm just going to trim it up. Maybe. I need to sharpen my scissors. I've got a really fancy scissor sharpener that I need to try. I haven't tried it yet. Hi, Margaret. So I need to try that because my scissors are like not feeling it. I think from cutting the fleece. Maybe I should have a separate pair of scissors for the fleece too. What do you think? Okay, so this is what I've got. I'll tell you what it measures, but it really doesn't matter. So this is a 11-inch square, thereabouts. You just, and we will be able to trim it up later. So make sure you have extra from what you want it to be. I'm just going to make sure it's all pressed on. And you also want to make sure that this fabric is super flat. It's hard to see because it's lined, but it's really flat, no creases, nothing bumping, no bumps, because we're going to quilt right onto this. So we're going to sew right onto it. Now, we'll start working with our fabrics. And I like this because you can just do whatever, like I said. And if you want it to be super straight, pull out your, hi Valerie, pull out your rotary cutter and make it straight. But I'm going full freestyle, so I'm just trimming it up and I'll cover up that edge. So I'm going to grab a strip that's about the same size as my line here. That's where I want my strip to be. It's really fun to do this with strip quilting, strip piecing. And then I'm going to grab another fabric, just whatever happens to jump out at you. And I'll do myself another strip. I think we'll just do strips since that's the easiest. But you can do any shape you want. You could just, you know, whatever scrap you have, throw it on. Hi, Sally. Hi, Elsa. Okay, I know, I want you to be on. Okay. I'm just going to throw this one on. And I'm going to line it up right sides together. So I've got my two strips, and I've just put this one right side down, and it's all on top of the batting. So it's right side up on the batting, one strip. Then I'm going to put this strip right side down on top of that one. I'm going to trim it up because I just don't need that much. And it doesn't matter at the ends because we're going to square it anyways. So these ends don't have to be perfect. So then we're just going to sew a straight line right here. And whatever you want on the backing, whatever color you want, make sure that's in, because that's going to be the color of your quilting, is whatever's in your bobbin. Okay, that's going to be what is quilted here on the back. So make sure that you've got the right color in the bobbin. And you can use different colors as long as it's the same exact thread. Like if you were going to use these two, these would be fine because they're the same exact thing. They're both 100% polyester, Gutermann. It's okay to use white in the top and black in the bottom as long as they're the same exact. But if this was cotton and this was polyester, don't do it. I'm okay using the same as long as they're exactly the same. Oh, thank you, Andrea. Yeah, it's from Maker Valley. It was designed by Amy of Diary of a Quilter. You guys know who she is? I love it too. I can throw a link in for you when I'm done. Then I'm just going to do a straight stitch, and I'm going to stitch right along that line where I attached the two. And we're going to sew that on. You can use a walking foot. This is a good, I probably should have my walking foot on. I recommend you use your walking foot because it will move a little bit differently since this one is attached to the fleece. The pieces will move a little bit more. So I definitely recommend, hi Jeanette, hi Rachel. I definitely think you should use a walking foot. I might put it on. So now we've got this. We've sewn right here. You might be able to see we've got the one line in the back. What we're going to do is we're going to open it up. And that's why I love to have my, hi everybody. Hi Rebecca. Hi Karen. I like to have this little pressing thing right here. They have the press and cut mats too that you could use. But I mean, this works great for me. This is just my easy press. I'm just going to press that seam on. And literally press, like pick it up and press it. And then you can see we've got these two attached. Okay? Then you're going to keep going. We'll add another strip. So let's just go with, is this what? No. We'll add a strip of this yellow. I think I'll do this way to this other side. And you can pick which side you want to add it to. You can make them thicker or thinner. Try and keep it fairly straight. You'll be able to straighten it out a little bit. Like I said, you could just go through with your rotary cutter, cut yourself a bunch of strips if you want to do this strip way, or you can, or you can just use your scraps. My craft room is a total mess. I don't know if I can even find my walking foot, so I might have to just not use it, but I want you guys to use your walking foot because it works so much better. Yeah, this is an easy press. It's actually like almost like a heat press. It was originally designed for like iron-on for vinyl, but it really works awesome for quilting too, because it's just real small right here, and it lays flat on this, so it's not like an iron where I'm gonna be like, bump it and burn myself if I try to have it in my workspace. I really like it. Okay, so, oops, okay, sorry. I don't know what button I pressed, but it got really angry. Oops. Hi, Karen. Okay. So put your walking foot on because it'll make it a lot smoother. Now I put this strip face down on my pink strip here, and I'm going to sew right here along this pink line. Line it up. It's very awesome. I like it. The easy presses, it's just fun. So we've got that one sewn in place, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to just push this open. You can use one of those seam pressers if you want, but you definitely want like rollers, but you definitely want to give it a press with your heat source just to just to make sure that it's down like so. And then the other thing I like to do when I'm quilting as I go, so you can see on the back I've got these 2 lines. What I like to do is, the front's not going to have any quilting, so I want to add I'm going to add a few just straight lines on the front too, and that'll set the seam down more and just give me a little more quilting to make it a little more interesting. So I'm going to throw, you guys, I have to show you this. Look what my son did. He was in here. These are all of my Wonder Clips. They're on the line. They're on my sewing machine cord. I'm like, at least you weren't like harassing me, letting me sew, but thank you for, thank you for that, goofball. Okay, so I'm just going to put some more lines on the front here, just to give the front some quilting. I love my wall decor too. It's just adhesive vinyl that I cut and stuck up there. Adhesive. It's removable, but it's adhesive, so it sticks. It took me a really long time. I actually have a blog post that I can link to show you that, and I did a video of like I have to measure, and oh my gosh, it took a really long time. But I think it turned out so fun. I really love it. Okay, then I'm just gonna add some more here. Right like this. And you can just play with it however you wanna. You don't have to do this quilting on the front. It's attached, but I just kind of like the look of the quilting. So I'm adding it. And straight line quilting is nice because you don't have to add the do the quilting foot. So now I've just put a few lines on there, if you can see, kind of on this pink and on the yellow, and I would continue to do that along the way. Let's add something else, something fun, some blue maybe. We'll add this blue. Right like this. This one I haven't pressed, so it's a little bit wonky. I'll press it here before we go. So then I'm just gonna finish off this edge so I can show you how you would attach two quilt blocks together, because it's not tricky, but it might seem like the trickiest part. Really nothing about this is tricky. It's pretty straightforward. Oh, thank you. It's a pretty straightforward technique. It just kind of gets messy. I'm just gonna press this really quick so I have something straight. Maybe it creates more scraps than it uses. I don't know. But if you have questions, if you've ever tried it, please ask me your questions because I'm happy to answer. Okay. So I'm just going to take this one and line it up here. Again, on the straight edge. So this one is face down. I'm putting it on the right side of this one. And I'm just going to sew another straight line. And you can clip this if you feel... I didn't wash this one. I don't typically wash, especially if it's all the same, like if it's the same fabric line. Oh, well, I keep pressing it and it's like gets mad. I'm pressing the button on accident. If it's the same fabric line, so it's all the same exact cotton, then I won't wash necessarily. But if it's a little bit cheaper fabric, I like to wash it first, because that really seems to lose a lot more of its shape and color when the cheaper it is. Not that I don't use it, I use it all the time, the cheaper fabric, but the pressing tool, it's called the Cricut Easy Press. I will give you a link that you can follow. I might have linked it in the blog post, I don't remember. And it works really great. It's like a great multi-use. It works really awesome for your vinyl too, if you use vinyl. If you do anything with vinyl, it's great because you can change the temperature. Like I usually iron my quilts and stuff around 300 on this. I have no idea what my iron actually, what temperature that was, but I usually use about 300 on this guy. Okay. I'm gonna press this down, and it's just called the Cricut Easy Press. I'll give you guys a link. I will throw one in as soon as I'm done here so you can see it. It's fun for quilting. And this is what it looks like. I don't want to touch too much, but, and here you can set a timer, and where am I at? This green one, and it'll count down. So if you have something that has a specific time you need to do it, you can do that and it'll do the time. Or right here, you can change the temperature. I don't know if you guys can see the temperature going up and down. So if you need something to be at a steady like 200, you can set it to that. Or I think it goes, what does it go up to? It goes up pretty high. Let me see. 360. It goes all the way up to 360 if you need anything that hot. So, I don't really want it at 360. What are you gonna do? I don't need it at 360. I wanna like burn my fabric. I find 300 works pretty good. Okay. And you can change the timer too. It doesn't have to be 30 seconds. Okay, so we've got that attached. You'll quilt it how you want. This is also great because you can add more quilting on the top, and it's a really small piece to work with. So once you've finished, you're going to square it all up. I'm just going to square one side so I can show you what you'll do. So you're going to square it up. You can make a grilled cheese, probably. Just wrap it in tin foil and then press it down. That would actually probably work. So I'm just going to square this piece up on the bottom. So then say you're making a whole quilt and you've got all the pieces done. Let's pretend this one's done. And you've squared all the sides. Then, let me grab, if I have it. Yep, here it is. Then the best thing that I really like is just a jelly roll. This is just an off-white jelly roll. Let's press that. And there's two ways that you're going to do it. Two things. So you'll need two to attach two blocks. Yeah, I do get hungry when I'm quilting, right? Don't you guys? So I need two jelly roll strips. And I'm just going to actually cut this one in half. I just wanted to press it a little bit. And this has a really wide area too, which I really like. So I'm kind of obsessed with it. I like rarely use my ironing board anymore, which is amazing because I hate my ironing board. Does anybody else hate their ironing boards like with a passion? Like I can't stand my ironing board. I hate it. And you'll want to measure. Like, don't like willy-nilly like I am doing. You'll actually want to measure if you want this to turn out nicely. But I just wanted to show you guys quickly how you would do it. Okay. So for the first two, and I guess we'll have to find a second thing to attach this to. Let me see. Sorry, I told you my quilt room is so. Oh no, get it out of the box. My quilt room is a total disaster. Okay, I'm gonna just quickly make us a pretend quilt block here so that we can put them together. So let's say this is your second one that you've made. You're just gonna you'll have all of your blocks done, and they should all be trimmed up to the same size. So if you did like me and have an 11-inch square, you'll want to trim them up to like 2 10.5-inch squares, or even 10, but you're gonna lose a little bit more, but not a ton. So this is just my pretend block here, so you can see what we're gonna do. I'm sorry, pink fabric. You have to be sacrificed for sacrificed for this pretendness. I used my Easy Press yesterday to put my son's name on his baseball hat because, you know, 5-year-olds, they all throw their hat on the ground and then just pick whichever one, which is terrifying to me. Like, I don't want him sharing a hat with another 5-year-old because who the heck knows? You guys, we don't know what's on there. We don't know what's on that kid's head. Okay, let's press this real quick. So what we've got is, maybe if I can keep my area clean, we want 2 strips. I'm just going to trim this one to the same size. And you'll cut the strips to the size of your quilt block that you've squared. So if you've squared your quilt block to 10.5, you want 2 10.5-inch strips. Okay, let's just say that's the number. We squared this to 10.5. We've got 2 10.5-inch strips. First strip, we're going to put down like so, face down. The second strip, we're also going to put, on the back. And it'll be face down if you have a print like I don't. I like to use a clear, like not print for this because it's the sashing in the middle. I've got enough print. I don't need it to be crazy. So right now I've got 3 layers. I've got my 2 sashing strips, and then in between is my quilt block that we've made, that we quilted. We did Quilt As You Go. With your walking foot, which I'm not using, but I want you to use. Don't forget. I want you to use it because I can't find mine because I was in a rush to get back to you guys. I should have cleaned up my craft room first, but I didn't. With your walking foot, you're going to go through all 4 using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, okay? And I think I got a little bit crooked here when I let go. Okay. You can pin this in place. I'm just anti-pin sometimes. You can clip it in place. Mine's moving a little bit because I didn't use my walking foot. But I want you to use your walking foot. Oh, I don't know about any services that will cut your fabric, but my Cricut Maker, the Cricut Maker cuts fabric and it works great for, it works great. The batting that I used is Thermoweb Fusible Fleece, and I'll throw links to all these things. Just I'll respond to your question with the link, so you can find it if you need help. But it's just called Thermoweb Fusible Fleece, and you can get it on Amazon. You can get it on thermoweb.com. I feel like they have it at Joann. They have a ton of Thermoweb stuff at Joann, so I'm guessing they have it. You could do the Air 2 would cut your squares, but you'd have to bond it first to like heat and bond or some sort of interfacing, which is why I like the Maker. You don't have to bond it. Okay, so we're pretending like this block is done. I've got this strip that I've sewn on this side, and I've got this strip that I've sewn on this side. Okay? Maybe, Betty, try getting out and getting back in. It hasn't told me that I'm, that I have a bad connection. So you might get out and get back in, or share it to your wall and you'll be able to find it later once I'm done. It should fix the feed a little bit. Okay, so we've got 2 strips that we've attached, right? So for your first one, you're going to, you'll press it, bring it out, and you'll want to press it so that it's nice and flat, like so. Then you're going to bring your second one and flip it out. So now you should have the wrong sides of this binding together, facing each other. You're going to flip it out and press that down. Just give it a good press. Okay, so then on the back, the one that's on the back, so this is the back of my block. I'm going to take the back of my other block and take this, put the right side down, and this might not be the right exact, so it's right side down. So I've pressed this open, and I've placed this right side down, and I'm going to sew this one strip in place right here like this, okay? So you can clip it. I'm down to like 4 clips in here, you guys, because we took them all and put them on my cord. And we were winging it, remember? So these aren't exactly the right size. So I've clipped this in place so that it looks right like this. So this is the back side. This is the binding on the back, or the sashing on the back. This is right side down on the right side of the back of the quilt block. Oh, thank you guys. It's so two things. The Easy Press is it's just like almost like a heat press, but it's just one-sided that you use to that I use to iron. It's from Cricut, and it's also, I think it was originally designed to for vinyl, iron on vinyl or heat transfer vinyl. So I'm just, again, with a 1/4 inch seam, make sure that the seam is the exact same. So make sure you, whoa, I lost my thing got crazy. I've been having that happen where this gets caught in the bottom, caught underneath. It's really being really frustrating. Okay. And second, my shirt is from Maker Valley. You can follow them on Instagram, or I think they have a Facebook. And this shirt was designed by Amy from Diary of a Quilter. If you guys know who that is, she's super fun. But they have a ton of sewing shirts and maker creative shirts and other stuff. They have other things too, but I mostly like them for their sewing shirts. But all their shirts are the same like material, and they're super comfortable. Sorry, my thread was caught, so it got angry. Let's try that again. So what I was saying, make sure make sure that you are using the exact same 1/4 inch. Make sure your 1/4 inch is very on point, because you need that 1/4 inch to be even so that all of your blocks are even. When you're quilting, like, that 1/4 inch is kind of gold. You need to make sure that you have that 1/4 inch. And up until now, we didn't care too much, but for adding this sashing, you want to have that 1/4 inch seam on point. Okay, so we've sewn that one in place. So remember, you're pretending like our quilt blocks are done, like we've finished the quilt blocks. So this is what the back will now look like. So we've got 2 finished quilt blocks attached. Oh, I've made myself lots of shirts with my Maker and Easy Press, but I like to support, and Amy's my friend, and I love these shirts. They're super soft. That's the only thing about making my own shirts, is I never can seem to find the really awesome, like, super comfortable shirts. And mine don't always stay as well as I wish they would. Then we're just going to press this seam in place here. And make sure this is out of the way, this other one here. And remember, this is finished, so it's not the fleece on top. So this will be, you'll press over this way, away from the quilt block. And for things like this, just give it a good finger press first to make sure that seam's going to lie where you want it before we flip it over to actually press it. Easy press and press this in place. So this step is going to be the same. Then you'll repeat it when you're, so you'll put all your strips together, all your blocks together this way, and then you'll do one sashing along the bottom of that to attach to the next row of quilt blocks. This is if you're making a whole quilt this way. You could attach them like this and then bind it and add just bind it, add binding, and you'll have a nice like table runner, or put it on your bed. Okay, so the last step, so we've got this, we've pressed that, that's nice, the back is all set. The last step, we're going to take that front one that we had sewn on, we're going to fold it over, and it'll be much easier to see when you actually have fabric on here. Sorry guys, I should have had one ready to go. You're going to take this, and you can do this separately, just press this under a 1/4 inch, this sashing that you've got. Let's do that. You'll pull this out of the way, press this sashing under a 1/4 inch, which is why we want to make sure that our 1/4 inch seam was super tight and on point for this step. This is why. And so they're all even. So I like to give it a little finger press. Then we'll just come in here for Easy Press. Oh, I got crooked there. I need to bring out my purple thing to make sure it stays where I want it. Now that it's hot, it'll stay a little bit better. Okay. we go. This is making me hot though. No batting. Nope, I don't usually put batting in between the sashing. I mean, I suppose you could iron it on if you wanted. And you could make your sashing. So this strip, I should have said, was is like, it's a 2-inch strip, or 2.5 inches. So then once that's all pressed in place, and if this had actual fabric on, you'd be able to see, this will line up. Let me sew it in place. I'm going to sew it right up against the edge, and it should line up right here along the stitching. So we'll be stitching in the ditch on the back when we stitch over this. My purple thing is, let me show you. I do know where that is. My purple thing is this guy. And it's great for just holding down if you're wanting to press. So I don't have to put my fingers there and worry about ironing them. You can put it there and then pull it out. So it helps to keep the seam down and move it, like, don't leave it under there because it's plastic, but just to lightly hold and then quickly pull out to keep my seams flat and from wiggling, because I'm not going to leave my finger there and then pull it out because I'm a wimp. And I wouldn't want to do that. So then I am going to just pin this. No problem. I am just going to just pin this down like in the middle so that it stays. And then, so you will be stitching in the ditch. That 1/4 inch should line up exactly with the stitching on the back, and you'll stitch in the ditch on the back so you won't see the seam, and you'll have one seam on the top here where you've attached the front of the sashing. Sorry, I know it's not nearly as fun when I don't have a finished project, but just the technique is, you get it, right? I like to do a finished project, but this one, we don't really have time to make the whole quilt, so I just wanted to show you how it would go. Okay. So now we've pressed our seam in place, and we're ready to stitch that. So just stitch right on the edge, as close to the edge of this as you can get. If you have a just fold this over a little bit so it's easier. Okay. And I don't need to go super fast. And again, remember, you're using your walking foot, which I'm not, but that'll keep it from bunching up. On the very edge there. The walking foot will keep it from moving around. I like to use my walking foot when I'm just straight line quilting too. Just couldn't find it. Don't judge me, guys. I need to clean my craft room. Been crazy with the end of the school year. Okay, so this is, remember, that's fabric. Just pretend it's fabric. So we've got, that's what our sashing will look like. And then on the back, you can see we've just stitched right in the ditch there. And this is what the back will look like with the sashing. So we've added our 2 blocks together. It's not the prettiest thing because I didn't finish the quilt, the quilt box. But so that's how it works. So when you're doing the quilt as you go, you will just add a shape face down on here, stitch it in place, open it and press it. And then once you've got the whole square filled, you're going to square it up to the size that you want. You'll cut 2 strips that are the same length as your square, so 10.5. And these, I think they were 2.5, right? Yeah, these are 2.5. Okay, you can go off now. These are 2.5 inch strips, so then it'll come out to be just about 2 inches once you've got them on there. and we'll add the sashing. So do you guys have any questions? I know it's kind of a half-baked project because we didn't actually finish it. But if you have questions about anything about quilting as you go, or anything really, I'm happy to answer them. And I will, as soon as we're done, I'm going to come back in and I'll give you the links to all the different things we talked about. The purple thing, the easy press, which I recommend getting the mat to go with it because it's awesome. Make sure that you guys share this so your friends can find it. Thank you so much for watching, and you can find the written tutorial in the description of this video. And if you share it, you can come back to your wall and go forward and back, rewind, whatever you need, ask questions, and I'm happy to answer. And I'll shoot you the link to this too, which is super fun. Good morning, Berna. And I guess I will see you guys next week. I hope you have a great day. There's no batting in my sashing. I didn't put batting in the sashing. I've never actually seen a quilt as you go with batting in the sashing, but maybe there is. I don't know. Maybe there's a technique to use batting in there. I'll have to look into it. Yeah, I think that's it. You guys have a great day, and I will talk to you later.